She waited to the moment that I had the pen in my hands, and then she throws a fucking pen.
What? I was producing a pen. You asked me to produce a pen, so I did.
Production. That is for fuck sure.
Oh, look, sure, Billy, y'all need a Timex or something. I fucking said, I'm like, y'all, we better start the show. Sure, Billy's going to get bent. And what did y'all say?
I said we should probably hurry because Shore Billy's very important to us. And Sam said, fuck him.
Exactly what happened, Graham. That is exactly what happened.
It's like, he could wait.
We don't fucking Shore Billy. Fuck him. He doesn't dictate my time. I'm Sam Houston.
Sure, Billy.
I taught a class on podcasting.
Just block out the outside voices. You know that is not fucking true, okay? You know that's not fucking true. You too. If my wife's not going to kill me of a heart attack, my fucking friend will, because you all are
Sure Billy calls
bitches.
bullshit.
Thank you,
Sad
Sure
thing
Billy.
is, it's true. It just was Graham.
So there's this fun bit that
That's
my wife
by the way, the
does.
delay on the comments.
That is podcast.
No, it popped up in my comments, and so I said it, so he knows when he types it how long of a delay there is.
Okay, very good. There's this bit that Mel likes to do, which I can't, fault her for doing because if I do, it will only make matters worse. Mel could be
where this is going.
be feeling a little blue or a little down, and I'll do what a husband should do, a partner should do. It's dance monkey dance,
Strip, gyrate those hips,
get her out of her funk, and what inevitably happens every single time is that she then decides, ooh, I'm in a jolly mood. Now I'm going to fuck with Houston the rest of the night. Just nonstop. We'd sit there and poke the bear and poke the bear and poke the bear and fuck with him. And I can't get Barky because if I do, she's going to be blue again. Look at this fucking...
I mean, y'all are special, man.
I'm not special. She's the fucking special one. That is for fuck sure.
Oh, poor Sammy. To quote my Uncle John.
Whore. Alrighty, let's do a show.
I don't even know what to start with first. There we go.
In a world full of arseholes, be more Fulhamish and enjoy the Drunken United podcast, starting now.
I don't know, Jay. I mean, you're pretty full of mission. Shipped 3 straight fucking goals to my club.
No shit.
When you got something to fucking play for.
What a weird run of form they're on, man.
It's just odd. It's just a bunch of teams that just don't want to fucking win football games right now.
Nah, not at all.
It's fucking crazy. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Snub of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
In a world full of arseholes, be more Fulhamish.
Fucking United!
The mystery of Malort, because it's now Papal, has gone by and it just magically pressed the button. I didn't even touch the damn
Bro,
thing.
the amount of memes I've seen of the Pope giving communion with Malort substituted in for the wine is brilliant.
I'm here for it too. And also, apparently, he's very much a Chicago White Sox fan, not a Cubs fan.
Correct.
So then there's the White Sox logo, but with the Pope.
Yeah.
It's pretty brilliant.
It's not bad.
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by 2 common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston. And across the way from me, apparently working on his vacation and looking more and more like Mike Patton every single day, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham.
I hope that's nice.
He was the front man of Faith No More.
Okay.
Yeah, he had the longer hair.
All right, sweet. I've been getting a lot of Dave Grohl lately.
Yeah,
Kind of Grohl-esque.
Grohl
Doing good, though. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Good.
You think a lot of yourself there, don't you?
I'm just telling what people have said to me.
Yeah. I have a feeling they probably say pretty disrespectful things to you at your house.
Oh, my house, yeah, all the time.
I mean, there's a particular daughter of yours that has no respect for you.
No. I looked at Avery yesterday and went, "Do you love Daddy?" And she looked me back. She goes, "No." And then turned around and walked away. I was like, all right.
Ooh, that's not the one I always expected from Cam.
I know. But yeah,
So
no,
two of them
she's
don't respect you.
Well, every time Julia walks out of her room now or walks into the room that Avery's in, she looks at her and goes, "No, no, no." Like she's just on a no kick.
Just on her no
That's
kick.
her answer to pretty much every question is no.
Well, it's better than her hiding away in the pantry and locking the door and
Yeah,
being like,
which
"None of
she
y'all are
has.
allowed in here."
She has done before.
Yep. And, of course, the woman that disrespects me on a regular basis on the ones and twos, my lovely bride, Producer Mel. How you doing over there, Producer Mel?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty archaic today. How about you?
I don't know. Hopefully you guys have your abacus to be able to listen to this tomorrow.
It's overstimulating. What can I say?
We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Of course, it's at DU Football Show on all the social medias, dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email. You also have the option of joining our closed Facebook group. That's Drunken United FC on Facebook. That's where most of the hashtag bans happen and where one of our pretty interesting questions of the week came in this week from Shorebilly, of course, our homeboy over on the Eastern Shore. Asked us what we think young players or better performers for the relegated teams and teams that have been quite poor this season, where we think they're going to end up, or any promoted teams coming up, if any of their squads are going to get picked off as well, kind of by other Premier League teams. What do you want to get into that now, or do you want to hold off on that and do it later?
Oh, we can go ahead and do that real quick right now.
The obvious ones you got to say are going to be Liam Delap, and probably Amari Hutchinson.
Yeah.
I think Enciso has showed a few
Yeah,
things.
but he goes back to Brighton.
But he'll go back to Brighton, exactly,
There's
already.
a lot of lone players on those teams.
Right, but you also got to think with Brighton how many people have come through now. Mm-hmm. We just saw, Gruda score his first goal in English football today, and seemed to me he played in a very similar position to old Enciso.
Very much so.
So I'm not sure he's going to be needed back at Brighton either.
But you also wonder, they are always the team that will sell somebody and always have the next man up. So you could see somebody like a Matomo being gone and them just slide in the next guy because that's how they fucking roll.
Well, it's going to be smoked Gruda here.
Very good. There you go.
Thanks.
Give you the double hi-hat for that one.
I don't think anyone from Leicester's getting picked off. We know Jamie Vardy's leaving. He'll be on a free to somewhere. Somebody will pick him up just for his experience. He is a good squad guy, a good locker room guy with his banter and stuff like that. He's always one for the team. But other than that, I mean, you got Dibbling, maybe Walker Peters, but you got to remember Walker Peters now been at Southampton for a while. He was already at Tottenham, and nobody picked him off the last time they went down.
Right, very true.
So not sure what's really if that's on the off. I think Tyler Dibbling has the best opportunity from Southampton, and I'm not super familiar with the squads coming up, but the one name, of course, that leaps to mind is going to be James Trafford. After his record this season, you got to figure and possibly. Ipswich's goalkeeper as well, if somebody needs a backup, was very good to see, and in particular this past weekend was excellent. Made a couple of really good saves. But Tottenham are going to be in the market for a keeper, it looks like. Vicario's shit at a lot of things. Their backup's not bad. I don't think he could start every week, though. So there could be some movement. Onana is probably going to be out. So I think the goalkeeper, Ramsdale, of course, as well, as another one with big Champions League experience and stuff like that.
Yep.
So there's going to be some movement. I think a lot of it's going to revolve around the goalkeepers, though. To be quite frank, a couple of forward players here or there, but really those names I gave you are the only ones that leap to mind.
I think there's about 9 players or so that'll probably get picked off. Problem is, those 3 teams equally have 90. Sam, myself, both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, the gin binge continues. What are we drinking today?
The gin binge does continue. We've got one from a local distillery, hyper-local distillery to us, right in Frederick, Maryland, called McClintock. This is their Staycation Gin. Comes in at 90 proof. This is batch 1 out of 40, number 45, bottle 45. So we got the first batch here.
And this was one of the ones that was made actually for a store.
Oh, yeah. One of my stores.
Yeah, hey, how about that?
This was House of Liquor's private bottling of the Staycation Gin. With prominent notes of bright citrusy orange peels and lemongrass, this gin was created to accompany a summer escape. Your plans may have changed this summer, but this gin can still be the perfect companion to your staycation. I reckon this was made in 2020 then as well.
Yes, it was.
Like I said, 90 proof, 45% by volume. Probably won't be able to find it anymore. I would imagine. But I do remember having this actually at the store with them.
And everybody, producer Mel already needs more, apparently. So
Gin is my favorite. A little bit of licorice. Is that coming from the tonic or is that coming from the
Yeah,
gin?
it might be from the tonic.
it might be from the tonic. Yeah, I would agree. That's probably where it's coming from. You guys have to talk. I got to apparently make the producer a
Make another
fucking drink.
cocktail.
Next week. So one of the things in our bartenders thing they were doing today was pisco tasting and pisco and pineapple. And they were talking about how pisco and gin are very similar. And I'm going, well, if pisco and pineapple is good, gin and pineapple is probably good.
Gin and juice, man.
Well, that's always
Yeah, but
orange
that's normally
juice.
gin and orange juice.
Yeah, but
So, next
citrus-based tree plant.
Next week, we're going to do gin and pineapple because pineapple is my favorite. Gin is my favorite. Why should rum have all the fun?
All right.
Okay, then. No, we talked about it in the car. We're definitely going to do that next week. Just got to decide what gin I want to work with.
Naughty Head.
We don't have Naughty Head anymore.
Naughty Head and pineapple.
Remember, in our early days, the first year we did the gin binge, we actually did gin
Naughty
and
Head.
juice.
Yeah, we did gin
Naughty
and
Head.
juice. Yep.
Got to do it the right way. And if we're going to do it, we're going to be Baltimore. Got to do it the right way, dummy.
Yeah, fair dues. I guess this is the level of service we can expect when you down your first gin in 11 minutes, maybe
Yeah,
tops.
it's just
Sound check was 17 minutes.
it's just easier this way, Mr. Graham. It's easier this way. Let's have a good show, everybody. So cheers.
Have a nice show. I hate these glasses.
Oh, it just
Tink isn't good on these glasses, and it doesn't get me hyped up.
didn't give you a good ting tang.
Ding ding.
All right, so we're gonna do kind of a
That's gorgeous.
just okay. We ready for me to start the show here, killers? We're going to do a little bit of a different format tonight. Trust me, we're going to get to all the action. We're going to get to all the games, but we're also going to kind of talk about what's ahead in the last 2 weeks. And of course, the first story is the Battle for Champions League. As one club got a job done, 2 faced off in a battle, and a couple others really squandered chances against teams they shouldn't have lost points to. Villa 1, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 2, Chelsea 0, Manchester City 0, Southampton 0, Forest 2, Leicester 2. I have this game first simply because they won. Honestly, I wrote down just Villa do the job because, frankly, that's what the game was. They did the job.
I mean, both teams did have a go at it. I mean, there was a fair amount of shots. It was a bit on edge. I think Bournemouth are kind of clinging to the Bournemouth they were a couple of months ago.
Right.
You know, we talked about Forest, like in context, when they, excuse me, when they dropped the game, what was it, in January or February, whatever it was, you were like, oh, is this it? Is this when they start to collapse? And I was like, they've bounced back each time, right?
Right.
Bournemouth kind of went on a bit of a run after mollywopping, was it Forest, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
6-0 or
Forest,
something,
yeah.
7-0, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
beat up on good.
Yeah, they haven't been the same team since. I don't know if because Evan Nilsson was out injured for a long time, and they were playing kind of that makeshift. Sometimes it'd be Semenyo as a false nine. Sometimes it'd be Ouattara in that position. And they kind of found a groove. When Evan Nilsson came back, it hasn't quite clicked again.
And Kluivert being back, and it really hasn't.
Yeah.
He was the straw for that team. Absolutely.
Right. But I think they looked a lot better in this game than they have in recent weeks. Obviously, we know what they did to us last week. We don't need to rehash that. But
And we'll get into it in the second segment. They have something to play for too, is the thing.
right, exactly. I mean, they're vying for that 8th
Yeah.
position. They're still not out of it,
Yeah.
even
And-
now.
And I believe
It's good. It's a tall order, but
with the 3 teams making it to the final, 8 is now in.
Yep.
9th could also be in, depending on what Crystal Palace does in the FA Cup, and obviously what those teams do in their finals that they're playing in as well.
correct, exactly right. And where Crystal Palace also then finishes depends on the final plus
Right.
where they finish at. So it's Villa were the better team, period. I mean, there's no really disputing that. But I was surprised how many chances Bournemouth actually had. Like I said, they've looked a bit disjointed over the last, we call it 2 months, I guess. And but they came out and did it. A pretty dumb foul by Jacob Ramsey getting sent off there at the end.
But they have depth.
But it was
They
also-
have, so it
that's
doesn't,
true.
It doesn't even matter that
But
they
it was-
necessarily lost.
I think it was a touch harsh of a yellow card, personally.
Fair.
But you gave the ref a decision to make. And that's how many times do we have to say that old cliche on the show. You gave the referee a decision to make.
We're going to say it
So
in the
the-
next match, too.
To the point, that you were actually in the opposing manager's technical box when you got sent off,
Yeah.
basically. So it was a very short walk to the tunnel.
Yeah, no shit. Now,
Good goal from Watkins, though. Hell of a cross, but he just helped it along. I mean, he just got a deft little touch to it that took it over Kepa's hand, who was coming to meet the cross. So it was a vital touch, and just a poacher's goal, just a very smart finish.
Now, Villa's currently sits in 6th place, but their last 2 games of the season are, frankly, dead-on wins. You would have thought
Should
at the
be.
start of the season that they'd be tough, but it's home to Spurs and it's way to United, and those 2 teams do not care about the league anymore. We'll talk about them more later, but you gotta feel like we've been saying it now for a few weeks. Villa controls their own destiny, and you feel like Villa's going to get there.
To quote David Geckel in the chats, Villa were only about 75% hard, but they still found a way to fuck.
Yes, they did. Villa definitely fucks.
Thumbing a chubby in there.
Magpies
Yes, I am talking about John McGinn.
Magpies grind out a tough win, but I would also say I never really felt like, yeah, Chelsea had chances. Pope was up to the task. It felt like that's exactly the game Newcastle wanted to
But
play.
it is what they want. They want it to be physical. They want it to be
Yeah.
kind of helter-skelter. They want it to be stop-start. That's how they thrive.
And
Right.
I never felt that Chelsea was ever going to be in it, you know?
But no, neither did I. I thought that Chelsea actually played better when they went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
They had a majority of their chances in that second half. I'm sure we're,
Let's
might as well
talk about it right
might
now.
as well
Nicholas
talk about
Jackson, do you think it's a red card
it.
or not?
Absolutely. I'm surprised it wasn't a red to begin with.
Yeah.
He was staring.
Yeah, he turned, looked right at him, threw his arm into his head.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
And it
even
was high. And
deniable.
right at the end of the I think he already made contact before he turned to look at the flight of the ball again.
Yeah.
It's a nailed-on red card. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's a very dumb thing to do. I don't know how he can have any complaints about it. It was absolutely ridiculous. What a start from Newcastle, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, just pressure from the off. Chelsea sloppy, gave the ball away, and it gets slid across for Tonali, and basically a FIFA goal, just a tap in.
Well, and it's not even just the tap in for Tonali. He's the one who started the aggression to get the ball away from Chelsea, made the pass to the middle,
Yeah.
and then ran around into the spot. So it was like
He's got a massive engine on him. Like
Tonali just did it all, and he was like, "I'm doing this all my motherfucking self.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the work,"
And
and
then
then gets rewarded with the goal.
Right, and then Guimaraes scores right near the end, deflected free kick. You got to imagine he might be one that's picked off. I think Newcastle need to sell someone, and there's someone they think they could probably get 65, 70 for after paying 40 for him. So they
Right.
fair chunk of change profit, and But that being said, if they secure Champions League, the whole financial scope changes. And so, these last couple of weeks, while normally don't really mean much, are massively important.
And here's where they are currently. They are currently in the Champions League spots. And if they get one of 2 victories in their last 2 matches, they've got it.
Should be
Now,
guaranteed, yep.
The first one is not easy on paper, but it's a team they love to fucking ruin their day with going to Arsenal, right? So that could be one. And then the last one is home to Everton, and Everton will expend all of their energy this weekend against Southampton, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, so you have, obviously, Everton will be home against Southampton. That'll be the final game ever at Goodison, which is why, as you say, they will expend a majority of their energy. I don't think they're going to need to get over the line, but I think everybody's going to want to enjoy themselves on the last day out. So when it comes to that last game of the season, like you say, are they going to be up for it in Newcastle? Do they give a shit? Probably not. Newcastle will still want to solidify and consolidate their power in that position. I think you're probably right. Newcastle walks out of there with a win, that final game. But Arsenal, who turns up, right? I mean,
Right.
Do you get the first half, which obviously we'll talk about later on in depth, but do you get first half Arsenal that fucks everything off for 25 minutes and in 90 seconds ruins my day? Or do you get second half Arsenal that come out and actually control the game and look dangerous and like they actually belong, with at least a seat at the table, let alone, all 3 points potentially?
Yeah, but now the makeshift striker just fucked off and got a red card and is going to be out that next match.
I know. Exactly.
So-
That's the other problem. And is Declan Rice back by then? Because he had a little bit of a knock. So I mean, it's all to play for Newcastle. One of the 2 games they should absolutely win.
And I would
it
imagine
would
they're
not
gonna be
surprise
thrilled.
me if they come out of it with 4 points.
So Chelsea is sitting at the final position currently for Champions League. And they have Manchester United at home, which they should be able to beat, right? But then they finish the year away at the City Ground with Forest, and Forest have something to play for.
And Chelsea, like Bournemouth, Chelsea are just have better individual players. But similar to Bournemouth, Chelsea haven't been right since the turn of the year.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And we saw that in this game. They, pretty sloppy to give the ball away initially for Tonali's goal.
Yeah.
And then just misplaced passes, the bad decision-making on Nico Jackson's part, all of these various things. We're seeing that run that they were on at the beginning of the season that had people talking like, oh, wow, is Maresca going to lift them to a title? We're seeing these inconsistencies and, obviously spoken about how young the team is and all that kind of stuff. We're seeing those inconsistencies manifest themselves again. I mean, Cole Palmer's not been the same player, period.
Yeah.
I don't know who.
Precisely.
Somebody needs to give that kid a hug. I don't know what happened, but he's just not doing it. He's absolutely not doing it. And Forest still look okay. Forest still look decent. They're still putting in an effort. They're still organized. They're getting picked off by 1 or 2 little stupid moments as they press. But other than that, I'm more confident in Villa and Forest, one of the 2 overtaking Chelsea and getting into that Champions League, so that final Champions League spot.
Tend to agree.
But then, of course, you throw in City here. What was that?
That's what I just about to go to there. Perfect transition, Mr.
Thanks.
Graham.
Maybe I should have taught that class.
Southampton aren't the tied worst points team in the history of the Premier League. Oh, boy. Yay.
Yeah. So the most
Did Pep overthink his lineup?
Of course
it
he
feels
did.
like Pep overthought this game.
Pep always overthinks things. But how can you not put Haaland in if Haaland's fit, right?
True. How do you not figure out a way to have Marmouche in that lineup, though, with him, considering
Very true.
Marmouche is getting you the bulk of your goals
because
right
I
now.
think Marmouche is actually in to take Kevin De Bruyne's spot since Phil Foden doesn't seem to want to play football anymore.
It's true.
But I think Pep's giving Kevin De Bruyne his curtain call. I think he's allowing him to play and do what he wants these last few games of the season to allow him to say goodbye to the City faithful.
It cost you 2 points, and now everybody's real fucking close to you. I mean, Villa is only 3 points away from you.
Oh yeah, it was stupid. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like he's putting in fucking, some 38-year-old person that can't run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or just back off of a
He
2-year
is
injury.
putting in one of the best in the business.
Right. I mean, it's not like Marmouche, he has played very well most of the time out of position, but it's not like he was dropped for somebody that's a piece of shit.
Right. Very fair.
So Kevin De Bruyne should be able to unlock Southampton. Let's be honest. But the most interesting thing that came out of this game, the football didn't matter at all. It was absolutely pitiful. I mean,
Please tell me you're talking about Ruben Diaz's poster.
I'm talking about Southampton's Twitter about Ruben Diaz's
Yes,
post.
that's exactly where I was
Yes.
going. Great minds.
But I mean, just listen to the stats real quick. 26 shots for City. They only managed to put 5 of those on target after 72% possession.
You got to put more on target.
You got to put one in the back of the net.
Right.
This is the worst team. I don't care about the point total. I know it's not verified they're the worst team.
This team was epically bad.
I remember Derby County at least putting an effort in most of their games. I didn't see that from Southampton 90% of the season.
Yeah, at all. Didn't see it at all.
That Norwich team a couple of years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the lack of intensity and the lack of effort those final fucking 2 months of the season may rival this Southampton side for me as the worst team in Premier League history.
Yeah, but that Norwich team at least had a good start, so they had more points.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
No.
But still, it's personal and professional pride. Go out there and do something. And they just couldn't.
Ruben Diaz.
So Ruben Diaz gets up in a post-match, and he says, basically, it's really hard to come out here and play against a team that doesn't even try to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody retweeted that. A private citizen retweeted that
Right.
and said, mate, we've got 11 points. We can't play football.
What
Haven't
do you
been
expect
looking
from us?
Yeah. Which is brilliant. But Southampton's Twitter did it also, retweeted that. And just said, like, bitter are we? Or so, it's something along those lines. But it was a Southampton official. They also posted an apology to Derby. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
They posted an
Sorry,
apology.
guys, we should have been even with you.
Well, not even that. Just sorry you're still the worst ones. They're just getting fucking pot shots in because they can. Yeah.
We're not like old Homer Simpson. We're not the worst.
Yeah.
We're not the worst.
They just saw an opportunity and they were fucking going after it. But it was absolutely ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to say from Ruben Diaz. You know, for me, you're the ones with the impetus. You're the one with the massive budget. You're the ones with all the felonies that nobody's told us a punishment yet that apparently there's a punishment for.
Go get a fucking goal. Go
score.
Go score.
You've got a squad that's worth more than Southampton's existence. Go score.
Yeah, score a goal.
Go score a fucking goal.
Yeah, it's not
we
that hard.
managed to.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even have a striker.
Yeah. Go get a goal.
Go get a goal.
That's all you
It's
gotta do.
not hard.
Now, for City, they're probably, we were talking about this the last couple of weeks, we feel like they're probably in the Champions League spots. Their last two aren't cakewalks. They've got to go, they're home to Bournemouth, who Bournemouth beat them already earlier this year, and then they're away to Fulham at the end of the season. Both of these teams are still in the hunt for that 8th place spot.
Right,
Now,
and here's the problem. This isn't the City of old. We've seen City falter this season and not be able to bounce back. Anytime they've dropped points in the past, we're like, oh, fucking 4-0 minimum next time out.
You feel
this
like if
season,
they
we
get
haven't seen that, though.
You feel like if they get 3, they're probably in. But if they only get 1, let's say they lose one of these and draw 1, or they draw both, definitely you would see Villa jump them. You'd see Newcastle be ahead of them. And then you look and go,
Could Forest get it?
Chelsea or Forest could possibly get it. You know?
Exactly.
And then finally, For Forrest, how do you blow this one at home, man?
But it's a derby.
Yeah.
You can kind of throw form out the window in a derby. They did go down early.
Yeah, but they got back and got the lead.
They did. They did. It was a good little piece of composure from Buonanotte, though, to score that second goal. He did sidestep Nico Williams. It was a great little pass from Jamie Vardy as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And nobody would have been mad at him if he took that shot on either.
Oh, God, no. Everybody wants him to get his 200th goal.
100%.
Everybody's rooting for Vardy to get that goal number 200.
But Buonanotte, not saying that the goal was like remarkable or super, super special, but he needed a composure that Leicester haven't shown this season, hardly at all, and he found it in that moment. Forrest obviously had to push to take the lead and kind of leave some spaces. I think they would have done well to sit back after that a bit.
Go back to play their game because
their normal
Leicester
game because
will
you
fuck it off.
Correct. You know the squad is not capable of doing it. They haven't done it all season. So sit back, give it that good 5-10 minutes, and then maybe you can start to expand again if you really want to rub it in. But there's no real reason to rub it in. If you win your games remaining, you will more than likely end up with a Champions League spot.
And then
so just do that.
Minokos pulling his best Jerry Jones, coming down on the field and like giving Nuno shit after the match.
But before I get to that, you don't have to fucking. I don't think Forrest are in a position where goal difference is really going to mean anything unless they lose or draw another game.
Right.
So if you've got the 3 points, just take the 3 points.
Yeah.
City dropped points this weekend. You now equaled City as a result. So that result is now negated. Now you're in a straight shootout again for 2 more games.
Right.
So you don't need that goal differential. You're never going to catch any of those people anyway on goal differential. So why are you pushing for another goal and leaving that gap in the back? The player that got sidestepped was Nico Williams, in the middle of the box. He's a left back. Where were Morato fell over. And Murillo was a huge miss, obviously.
Murillo was a
he
massive
calms
miss.
Everything down back there. But you should never have allowed that gap to even be be
the pressure getting to them
in that way.
After the
I
match,
think it could be. Yeah. It also, but again, how many times another old cliche that always comes up? It is a derby.
Yeah.
And you throw league form out the window in a derby. How many times have y'all been up Schitt's Creek and you've given Liverpool a good game?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot.
Right. How many times has Sunderland done the double over Newcastle and gotten relegated?
Yeah.
I think twice in my lifetime.
Yeah, twice.
Right? So it's like you can kind of throw that out the window. That atmosphere matters. That emotion, that raw emotion matters. And somebody that knows a lot about raw emotion is a man that you brought up before I went on that tirade, and that's Marinakis.
Yeah. The owner. I'm sorry. I think I Minokis, but it's Marinakis. Yeah.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah.
So apparently he came out in a club statement and said that he was basically him and Nuno had some heated words. He came down on the field and had some heated words. He's clarified, and Nuno said much the same thing, I believe, in his press conference post-match, that he basically came down to lay out his frustrations at what happened surrounding their final substitution, basically. Awoniyi was injured on the side of the field, set to come back on, but the medical staff, I guess, conveyed the wrong message to the bench, saying that they thought he could continue when he couldn't continue. Forrest then changed their substitution. Don't bring him off. So they're effectively playing with 10 men because he's hobbling around and can't finish the fucking game, basically.
Right.
He's on the field but can't really play.
Right.
And so it was that. It was just a botched substitution. That's what Marinakis was frustrated at, I guess, and came down and basically came down like yelling. You could see him like visibly pissed off. You could see Nuno say something back, but then they both just kind of look at each other and do one of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was very strange. The whole situation was very fucking strange. I didn't really.
For Forrest,
just keep the owners off the fucking field is what you should be
Forrest's
doing.
last 2 matches are in their own hands, really. It's away at West Ham, which should be a winnable game, and then home to Chelsea. You get the person you're probably fighting for the final spot with,
right,
in your building.
In a big 6-pointer.
So you got to feel like they should be able to do the business. But again, we're looking at 5 teams. There's only going to be 3 spots. Somebody's going to falter. And right now, it's really hard to say who those 2 teams that are going to miss out are. If you have to, Sam, gun to your head right now, who are the 3 of the 5 who you think get in?
Who are the 3 of the 5 that I think?
So you got Newcastle currently in 3rd. You have City in 4th, Chelsea in 5th, Villa in 6th, and Forest in 7th.
So I'm looking. I don't like the run of form Chelsea's on.
Nor do I.
It's not good. They've also given up. No, they actually haven't. I think it's going to be Villa. I think it's in.
Yeah,
I think Villa gets in. I think it's going to be difficult with that for Forest at that point. I'm
agreeing.
I would, a gun to my head, I would probably say it's going to be Newcastle, City, Villa finish the top 5.
Yeah,
I think Chelsea's 6th. I think Forest are stuck where they are in 7th. Brentford's too far back to really challenge them. I think they're 7 points back. Oh, they're 7 points back with 6 games left. So Brentford's either finishing 8th or they're not.
Yeah.
Because they
we'll
can't
get to that.
They
in the
can't
next
catch
segment.
them. No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
So I think Forest, with this point though, they do guarantee themselves European football.
Yeah, they're
in
European
general. They're
football.
definitely in Europe, which is awesome.
Just where in Europe is the question.
Correct. And, spending, 80% of the season in 3rd, obviously, is going to feel like a disappointment. But got to pinch yourself and remember, they were almost fucking relegated last year.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to be there in the first place.
After a points deduction, right.
Yeah.
And how many times have it's been proven this season just by, look who's in the Europa League final.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be the worst thing in the world to be in the Europa League? It's a competition. As a Premier League club, you could probably fucking win, even if you're terrible.
Yeah.
Look at United and Spurs.
Let's run it right back again because much can be said about the race for the final spot in Europe, as 8th place is now confirmed. That is because of Spurs, United making it to the final of Europa and Chelsea making it to the final of Conference League. 8th place will now get in. So it's 9th place that doesn't want Palace to win the FA Cup. But also, a lot of the same things happened here. Teams gave up opportunities. A few stepped forward and a few didn't. Everton 3, Fulham 1, Brighton 2, Wolves 0, Brentford 1, Ipswich 0. And obviously, Bournemouth we talked about in the last segment. Just an absolutely dog shit second half from Fulham. Leno is normally very, very, very good against Everton. He was terrible. He gave up 3 that he probably should have had all 3.
Mikalenko's deflection was a bit tough. He had already started to move, and you could see it just by the slow way in which he fell over.
Yeah, but Fulham, what are you doing letting that opportunity happen right at the end of the half? Like, why are you letting that shot happen? Like, what the hell are you doing?
It was a bad clearance. It should have never gotten back to Mikalenko.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a Decore did pretty well to actually win that ball back and get it to him. But Fulham should have cleared their lines. You're absolutely right.
Huh.
Mikalenko shouldn't have shot that ball, to be quite frank. And I think that's what caught everyone off guard. And the deflection from Andreas Pereira.
Excuse me, Mesalenko. We've referred to him as. I'm just joking.
Fuck off. There was somebody said that about Newcastle, about ML Kraft. I can't remember what they called him. It was like Craftinho or something. It was something ridiculous because he went on that stretch where he scored like in 4 or 5 consecutive games or some shit a couple of years ago.
Right.
And he ended up with his nickname. I think it was Craftinho. That's stupid. So this is the second player that doesn't deserve that today that's getting a nickname.
But even like early on when Fulham scored that first goal, they had control of the match.
Yeah, and it was a thunderous header.
Put it to fucking bed, guys.
But that's what Fulham haven't been able to do is score the second goal.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't been able to score that second goal. They haven't figured out a way to kill a team yet, to close a team out, really.
Everton played well.
It was a great ball.
Everton had good subs. They played well, but
it was a great ball from ESR and a thunderous header by Jimenez. It was a fantastic opening goal for them. Branthwaite and Keene ended up on the deck. Shouldn't have been the case. They should have been stronger, but they weren't. But Pickford was needed a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, he made a few good saves.
You know, there was the one that was coming. I can't remember who shot it.
Should have put them away.
From the right-hand side that he tipped up, and it kind of went across the face of goal and then bounced and spun out for a corner. But yeah, they just can't. I don't know what it is. They just can't seem to find that killer instinct after they've taken the lead. I don't know why that is, but that is how it is. Beto's goal was decent, and Michael Keane, to be fair to him, his header was pretty ferocious.
We know Mickey Keckers is good for a goal. Everyone, when he gets into the lineup, you're like, in the next 2-3 games, he's scoring a goal.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a pretty decent fucking header there. Brave as well. Bodies were kind of flying in front of him and all that kind of stuff too. But you're right. Like Leno should have had Beto's, in my opinion. It was a decent enough strike, but. I don't know if he shot it early enough that maybe Leno was kind of off balance or.
I think Leno could have had.
I don't know if the sun was in his eyes.
Kecker's header. He could have had it.
It was a pretty bright Scouse sun that day as well.
It was very much so.
So who knows?
Yeah, it just for Fulham, as supporters of Fulham, you've got to be left scratching your head. Like for us, it was like it was great to see that Moyes had made some moves, kind of reserved some of the kind of better players on the bench, and those players all came out and really offered something with McNeil and Njai.
Of course, yeah.
Alcaraz is the number for Alcaraz is 12 million. Activate that fucking buy clause. Just buy the guy.
Sure.
Buy the guy now. It's a no fucking.
I think it's going to be an interesting summer for Fulham. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Marco Silva. I'm wondering if he's having his head turned by anyone, because that has happened to him in the past. Fulham are doing well in the league. Not obviously this result. Last couple of results have not necessarily gone their way. Did okay in one or two of the cups. You got to wonder if he moves on somewhere. Who do they get in to replace him, and how does that recruitment go? I personally, at the stage Fulham is at, I think it'd be really interesting to see somebody like Kieran McKenna there.
Yeah.
I like his system. I think his system works. I think he's flexible enough to change that system, which is why we see Ipswich being the most likable of the relegated clubs.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, with a better squad, I think Kieran McKenna could establish himself as a decent Premier League manager. And I think that'd be pretty interesting if they did move on from Silva this summer.
Fulham, their final two matches are away to Brentford in a West London derby, and Brentford's ahead of them in the table. But again, derby, throw form out the window. And then they finish the year with City at home. It's looking highly unlikely for them. They needed 3 points in this one, and I think this will probably do them in.
Yep.
Seagulls back in the fucking driver's seat again.
Yeah.
They do.
It was
way downtown, walking fast. I'm a seagull. Go fuck yourself.
It was a decent game though, spirited. I mean, Wolves gave it a go. Flecken, or not Flecken. What's his name?
Sa.
No, Verbruggen.
Oh, Verbruggen
was needed a fair few times in this game. Mateus Cunha, I think, had two just excellent shots that he had to get down well for. I mean, the one from Cunha at the edge of the box with his right foot down low was Donnarumma-esque against Arsenal in the Champions League from Martin Odegaard, which is the entire fucking reason we lost that game.
Right.
That goal goes in. Game's different. We win, I think.
Probably,
personally.
yeah.
And we move on to the Champions League final. Obviously, that didn't happen. I'm very depressed.
Yes.
Moving on. But overall, taking the game as a whole, I think Brighton looked fairly comfortable. Yeah. But Wolves did test them. Somebody forgot to tell Wolves that there's nothing to play for here.
You know what? Vitor's got them playing good defense. They're a tough out, right? Like losing to City.
So I think Vitor just loves the
in
pints.
the park for City.
I think Vitor just loves the pints, and if we don't get points, I don't get pints. So we're getting points today.
I don't blame them. Now, for the Seagulls finishing out the season, they're home with Liverpool, who they tend to like to beat in their building. They normally do a number on them, and Liverpool ain't got nothing to play for. And then Spurs away at the end of the year, like, you gotta think they're sitting really pretty for that potential 8th place spot.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Keeping you awake over there, buddy.
It's the lawn catching up with me again.
Yeah,
I
I
did mow the
know.
lawn today. I told you. Yeah. So the issue here, as it comes to Brentford. Excuse me, and obviously neither of them can catch Forest,
Right.
Which we've already discussed. They have a 7-goal differential deficit to Brentford,
Okay.
and they're on the same points. So they need Brentford to drop points at some stage. I don't think they'll be able to make up a 7-goal deficit in terms of goal differential to jump them into 8th if they both went out.
And the Bees and let's face it, Shady Shad are getting into form at the right time. He's now 4 goals in 3 games with him.
Exactly.
And for them, their final 2 matches, obviously they have Fulham and the West London Derby at home. Who knows what's going to happen in that one? But then Wolves away, and Wolves away will be tough. But again, Wolves got nothing to play for.
You saw the blueprint here. You saw what you have to do. You will have to soak up a little pressure, but Wolves can be got at. That they didn't find themselves in the position they were in earlier this season by not having a leaky defense. And you still can get at Wolves. They are more organized now. But we saw Jose Salva, was it 3 weeks ago or whatever, give up 3 or 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever it was. Like, they can still be got at.
Yeah.
If you rattle them and you take the Molineux out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Brighton did that. I mean, Danny Welbeck in this game did the equivalent. Have a basketball player shoot a ball and then it like rims the net and then pops out. It's like or in golf, you see a ball go around. It's
Around
like,
the
how
cup and
far
pop
does
out.
it have to go down before it counts? Right? That was Danny Welbeck for me today. I mean, how many times did he put the ball in the net before he actually fucking
finally got it in?
Before it finally counted. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Now, finally, we want to talk a little bit about Bournemouth and who their final 2 matches are. They have City away. Again, they did beat City already this year, and City seems to not be playing great right now. And then they have Leicester at home, which is... They've been phenomenal at home already. You got to figure this is going to be a W for them.
Yeah, I would tend to think so as well.
So, gun to your head, who are the 4 teams?
I'm not sure yet, but I just thought of another example of how far is it in before it counts. Mm-hmm. You when you have sex with Mel.
Thanks, appreciate it. Good looking out. Yeah.
Is it in net, Mel?
That's
pretty good.
Hey, it kind of works. I'm 50. You need pills for that shit.
Heard.
That's how it rolls.
Heard. All right, gun to my head. Who gets into this one particular position? That's hard, too. It's definitely not going to be Fulham for me. They're not going to make up a 4-point deficit in 2 games when Brentford's playing the way that they're playing. So I think you can rule Fulham out.
I don't think it's Bournemouth either.
If Palace were to do it, they would have to make up a 12-goal difference.
Yeah.
And everyone in front of them would have to lose out. I don't think that's happening
I didn't
either.
even include Palace in this discussion.
I know.
said
I just
4
think
teams
I just think that's funny.
because Palace's way into Europe is through the FA Cup, and they know that. And that's this weekend.
It is still mathematically possible.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason I said it. Bournemouth, they have a superior goal differential to both of them ahead of them, but they're in such a weird run of form over the last couple of months. I just don't trust them to do it.
I think
And
they'll
if
beat
you,
Leicester, but I don't
who
think
did
they
you
beat.
say Bournemouth has? Man City and Leicester? Mm-hmm. I don't see them.
They'll get
Manchester
1.
City.
They'll get 3 points, but they're not going to get 6.
No, I don't think so either.
Maybe they get 4, but I don't think 4 will be enough.
I think it's all in Brentford's hands, to be honest. I think Brentford is the team that do it because partially in part of that goal differential. They also don't have the hardest finish here. Who do they have left?
Brentford, they have Fulham, and they have Wolves.
They have Fulham and Wolves. So
I think Fulham.
both of those are winnable games.
I think
even
Fulham
if they drop
fucks them.
even
I
if
think
they
Fulham fucks them, and
but
I
even
think
if they
Brighton
drop
gets points.
But even if they drop points
Mm-hmm.
in Fulham, I just don't see. I could see Brentford taking 4 points out of this and winning it on goal differential. Because who does Brighton have left?
Brighton has Liverpool and Spurs. I mean, if I hadn't already said this to you,
I know. I'm just.
glad to know
I
you're
got to
listening to me
rehash it
these
as we're
days.
doing it. I can't remember everything, Sam. I think maximum result for both of them out of those 2 games, I think, is 4 points. So is the win? Is Brighton able to overtake a 7-goal differential? I don't think they are. I think it's Brentford's.
You're a man in a house with 5 women. You're supposed to hear everything and remember it all, damn it. Rounding out the rest of the league.
I gotta tell you what happened to me this week.
Oh, so that happened. West Ham 2, Manchester United 0, Palace 2, Spurs 0, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. I wasn't sure if you were going to tell me what happened this week, or is that going to be an off-mic?
You want me?
No, it's an off-mic conversation.
So I don't know if I told you this on the phone or not, and I may have said something similar to this last week, but it at minimum happened again if it wasn't the first time. I said something to Carly. I was a little peeved. One of my little stupid pet peeves. I said something to Carly in the kitchen about something. Julia was sitting at the table. Carly quips back at me, and then Julia laughed at me. And I was like, all right. So then I went upstairs. I asked Cameron for something, and she said, she was like, no, Daddy. Or no, excuse me, I asked Tegan for something. She was like, what are you talking about? You're weird. And I was like, all right. And then I came back downstairs and asked Cameron for something. Like, can I have a hug or like something? Yeah. And she goes, no, I'm going outside, and just ran outside. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to the basement.
Every woman in my life just told me to
So
fuck
I'm out.
off.
I'm not even going to ask Avery. I don't want to be disappointed. She's still pure to me. I'm out. I got to go. I'm so annoyed. Everyone hates me.
The Irons, with their win, now sit above United and Spurs. Mr. Graham, the 16th and 17th place teams in the English Premier League are playing in the Europa final.
They're also propping up the Premier League pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lovely. It's glorious. I've waited for this moment. If they can't be relegated, this is what I would love to see.
Yeah.
And it's glorious.
One of them's going to lose out.
It's
on
been
an
weeks
English
coming.
trophy.
Graham Potter has had, 3 chances at doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, he should have done it against Spurs the week before.
He should have solidified them finishing in these positions by now.
Yes.
But he hasn't.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but this is why, you see Chelsea, obviously they're where they are in the league, and that's fine. They had a great run early on in the season, and well done to them. But you've seen how easy their run has been to the Conference League final.
Oh, gosh, yes.
I mean, they're a bit of an outlier. It was kind of cute when West Ham did it, and good for West Ham, and well done. They weren't splashing ridiculous amounts of money on players.
Right.
Chelsea spent $1.5 billion in 18 months or 24 months
Exactly.
or whatever it is. So they should walk that competition. But you look at these two, right? And there's some decent clubs still in that competition, right?
Were.
Of course, not now. Obviously, they're both in the final, but there were some decent clubs in that competition, earlier on, and nobody could seem to take anything off of these two. It's almost like they sensed it. It's almost like they knew we were going to need this, and that they put everything into the Europa League. And now they're coming up against each other. So which one wasted their opportunity is the one that I want to focus on. And I personally think it's going to be Ange Postecoglou and his second season miracle. I always win a trophy bullshit, and I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I think Manchester United is going to have enough to get over the line.
Right.
In that. But it just shows, right? Like, and this is what I said about Forest. If you have a Premier League budget, now that the Champions League teams don't drop down, remember that group stage you finished third and you drop down?
Yeah, you don't have to play anybody that drops out of the Champions League.
As a Premier League team with that sort of budget, that sort of TV deal, all that kind of the draw of, getting people in, you have a very realistic chance of winning this trophy no matter how your league form is. I mean,
Right.
Tottenham's semifinal was Bodo fucking Glimt.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
We played arguably the best team in the world currently in PSG in our semifinal, and you've got Bodo Glimt, and you actually let him score on your patch? You let him score on your patch? Come on, man. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Back to the Premier League, sorry. Which game would you like to speak about first?
West Ham won.
West Ham was good.
We're not going to talk much more about this other than to say in the Palace Spurs match, hey, Palace, that's how you warm up for an FA Cup final, not pull everybody off the pitch. You actually go and win the fucking game.
I think that's why they left most everyone on. And here's the thing with Palace. If you watch this highlight show, right? If you watch the highlight package, I had to watch all highlights this week. I didn't see any single full game. Which I hate these weekends when this shit happens to me. But you'd have thought there was only one team on the pitch. Tottenham had an effort, I think, in the 47th minute that got blocked away for a corner, and that's the only thing I can remember.
And I'm now pretty Maddison is out for the rest of the season with a knee injury.
Of course. Kulusevski may be out. He's still being assessed from what I understand. I haven't seen any update on him. But what I have here is Spurs had 8 shots, just 1 on target. Palace, though, 23 shots with 10 on target. I mean, the impetus was all with one club. And they've done it perfectly, right? They've still gotten a couple of results here and there over the last few weeks, but they were able to rest some players. They were able to do those things. And you know what? This is our last competitive opportunity before the game. Go do it. Go play yourself. Play for your position in the final starting lineup. And that's what they did.
Exactly.
You know, and I'd looked over my predictions recently. And with the way they finished last season, spoiler alert, I had Palace as dark horses. Now, I didn't have them for FA Cup, but I think that will qualify.
Me
if that
too.
makes sense.
That was my dark horse.
So it's because of the way they finished last season. And then I thought the signing of Nketiah was brilliant.
I think I put them in either 9th or 10th. I haven't looked at my predictions, but I know I put them in the top 10.
I think I had them in 8th or 9th. I'm pretty sure. But I had them in a potential European spot. I know I didn't pick them for a cup run. I don't think. I may have put them for the League Cup, actually, because of the way they finished the season. It doesn't matter. Not the point. We'll go over that when it's time to go over that. But that I know for a fact I had them as my dark horse. Because... you know, they finished the season in such fine form. They started the season, you know, had a little bit of issues with Gahey and all that kind of stuff with the Newcastle links all summer. And they started off in a little bit of a head scratcher. Like, how are this was the same team that finished last season pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
But Glasner fixed it.
Yep.
He survived the you know, all the talk for his head. He fixed it. And they've been rolling. They're a tough team to play.
They are.
Now, you know, back to Shorebilly's question briefly, if there was people I think that were going to get picked off, if they lose this FA Cup final, I think Eza, Mateta, Munoz, Gahey, I think they're going to lose the spine of their team, and they'd have a lot to worry about next year.
Wouldn't be surprised if Wharton got picked off as well in the middle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because you now have you have a situation where I put everything into this. I don't have anything else. What's my ceiling here? Mm-hmm. I'm wasting away my career. I want to go play in the Champions League. You know, in Ez's case, he'll get picked up by somebody like that. Mateta would probably be a backup to Isak or something at Newcastle, you know, because Callum Wilson can't stay fit. But he, you know, potentially can end up at a Champions League team. Probably in Mateta's case, he would end up at a Europa League team. And then you have Nketiah leading the line next season. Yeah. And he's already shown that just ain't his bag, man.
Yeah,
it ain't good. So I would be more worried for teams like this rather than the relegated teams, where if you don't get over the line into that European spot, those players that are your best players that gave you this opportunity in the first place
are gone.
I think they're more likely to get snapped up. Now, the issue is for the people that are buying them, so say an Arsenal wants an Eze, for instance, Palace goes 95 million. Mm-hmm. And then now do we stump the cash up is the difference. Right. Now the ball's in our court. But I think those are the people that everyone's going to be looking for because they're proven. They can do it. Dibling's not proven.
True.
Right? Liam Delap is probably the most proven of those players, for instance. But I think these are the sorts of clubs that you're going to look at and see, you know, the vultures circling.
Now the final match. This is one that would typically have led the show, but because it really didn't matter at the end of the day, it's the last game we're talking about. And very simply, very good first half for Liverpool, very good second half for Arsenal. There's more kind of interesting storylines than the actual score of the game, like the Mourinho getting
the Mourinho red card. It was two stupid tackles.
Trent Alexander-Arnold getting booed.
Well, we saw
when he come in as a sub.
this coming. You know, everyone, of course, bring it back to us again. Everybody makes fun of us for our online presence. Part of it is AFTV, of course. That
Right, of course.
we get memed all the time for our very considered approach to our club online.
Arsenal AF, the Arsenal fans TV is the Florida man of the English Premier
Oh,
League.
it's bad. Yeah,
it's so bad.
It's insane. It's crazy. I actually got a fight with Jeet. He texted me. He was like, "Man, Arteta's got to go." I was like, "Will you fucking get off the ledge?"
Yeah.
You're so frustrating to talk to because every time he asked me my opinion, and it would just basically be, "No, you're wrong. We suck. We got to go. He's got to go. Everything's bad. Everything's bad." And I was like, "You're so frustrating to talk to." I told him at one point he was the human embodiment of X. That's how toxic he was being right at that moment. It was pretty funny though. But yeah, so I get it. Here's the problem, right? There's only certain clubs that have these issues, right? Liverpool's one of them. Manchester United is one of them. If you really sat an Arsenal fan down and asked them, they would tell you we're not the biggest club in the world. We are a very big club, but we're not the biggest club in the world.
Right.
Liverpool, United, Real Madrid, Juventus,
Barcelona.
all of these clubs, every fan is entitled to the point of complete and utter blindness,
Yeah.
right? It's an insult and a personal attack when somebody decides they want to leave that club for what seems like a bigger move. Real Madrid at this point in time is a bigger move. And I'm sorry to say that to Liverpool supporters, but that's what it is. Real Madrid has always been a bigger move for everyone.
Yeah.
They are the biggest club in the world, period. Now, they're petulant because of it, and they're fucking annoying because of it, but it's true. They are the biggest club in the world. They've won the Champions League more times than any other club. And if that's the measure we're going by, yes, Liverpool are in the upper echelons by winning it 6, but they are not 12-time winners or whatever it is, 13-time winners.
13-time winners.
They're not. They've won it 6 times.
And this guy has won everything for you.
And he's been at the club for 20 years. Now, I understand part of it.
Boyhood
They should be mad at the club.
for not getting a deal done.
2 years ago should have started contract negotiations
Yeah.
and didn't. They just started them this season. And he put his head down and he got his job done. Now he's leaving for free and it would have been pure profit. Could he have signed for a year and then you negotiated a menial fee just so you got $40 million from Madrid?
Right.
Probably not because they're broke.
Yeah.
But I understand the point of being mad that you're not getting anything for him. However, that is the fucking responsibility of the ownership, not Trent. And he owes you nothing. He won everything for you, as you rightly stated.
Yeah.
They sang to the point when he got subbed on, the first time he received the ball off a goal kick from Allison, they booed him, right?
Yeah.
Now, there were some sections, if you could hear it on the feed, that did cheer every so often, right, when he touched the ball. So kind of, making it a point to say, it's not all of us.
Right.
The section of Boo Boys, though, went as far as to sing there's only one Connor Bradley
Yeah.
at one stage. Obviously, his like-for-like replacement in the
exactly.
team, which is a decent little piss take. But did you see the mural that was painted on the side of a house or side of a pub,
I did
whatever?
not.
It was Trent walking away, looking over his shoulder, holding a bag of money.
Fuck off, guys.
He's been there since he was 6, and how can you fault? He's won everything with the club, right?
Well, and
but how
they
could you
hadn't
fault?
won a Premier League title in the modern day Premier League? Like they hadn't won.
Right, but
He won you 2. He won you 2.
But he's no longer a one club man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He's leaving in his prime at 26, and they're not getting a penny for him. So, like, you remember that there was a lot of, like, you're a fucking snake when Gerrard was contemplating going to Chelsea back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, he ultimately didn't go, and I get it. It hurts worse if it goes to a Premier League club, and that you can probably say, okay, you're a bit of a cunt. But Trent's, by all accounts, now it's not announced he's going to Real Madrid. That's what everybody thinks.
Right.
And everybody's pretty nailed on that's in agreement that that's what's going to happen. Right, all the major journalists, Fabrizio and Ornstein and all those guys are all pretty convinced that's what's going to happen, but nobody's given the green light. We haven't gotten the bumper deal from Ornstein or the here we go from Romano. We haven't gotten those yet. So if he pops up at Man City in a few weeks' time, everybody's going to be like, now I get it. Fuck that dude.
Yeah.
I'm in for that. I understand that. But if he's choosing to go to another country, how can you fault somebody for wanting a different challenge? They've won everything. They've completed football at Liverpool.
Yeah, in all likelihood, they're going to give him the contract he wants. He's going to get the money he wants.
Well, that's the other piece to that. Yeah, of course. But this is why it's on the ownership and not Trent's fault, right?
Yep.
But if he has sporting ambition that he wants to go experience life in a different city and play a different style of football and do all these kinds of things, you can't fault him for that because he completed football at Liverpool. They've won the League Cup. They're only entitled to not entitled, excuse me. Their only opportunity is 4 trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Real
5 if you include Champions League.
No.
Right. But they only 4 a year.
No, what's the 5th?
You got Premier League, FA Cup. Oh, you're right. Yeah, only 4. Sorry.
Every season I'm saying there's only 4 trophies up for grabs, right? So Real Madrid only have 3, but 2 of them are new to him.
Yeah.
So let's go see what that's about.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's completely fine. It's not like he went off, fuck this. We lost that final to Real Madrid. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to join them lot. They win things. He didn't do that. He stuck around and then won it for you.
Right.
So relax.
I wonder, though, Mr. Graham, as that match was going on and you went down 2-0, were you about to go full Arsenal TV?
I almost cut my finger off, so I was chopping vegetables.
Sure money.
I'm about to finish my 2nd season without winning a fucking bet.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a row, I don't think.
Yeah, in a row. Last season,
no, I won something last year.
No, you didn't win a single one last year.
I thought it was the year before I did.
Nope. It's the last 2 years. Haven't won a single bet.
Well, that's unfortunate. I'm down again, basically because of Forest. But before that, Manchester City couldn't beat Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
Forgot. Yeah, thanks. What do you got this week, my friend? I think you lost also, didn't you?
I can't even be bothered with my intro anymore. I'm just going right to Taylor. He'll do it all because, I'm just kicking your ass. Hi, Taylor.
Fucking City. That was the one leg that was going to hit. Fucking City. So, Big Sam is still up $403.
Mm-hmm.
And Graham, did you know that 22.8571,429% of the time, it works 100% of the time?
Damn right it does, Taylor.
And Big Sam.
Yes.
Did you know that 0.0000000% of the time, Graham hits 100% of the time?
Thanks.
Fucking City.
That is
City,
$2 well spent.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for that, bro.
And, now, granted, I was already lost anyway. I was like Lieutenant Dan. My other 2 legs just weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
But fucking City, Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right. So, what you got for my bet this week, sir?
All right. So, I'm going full on psychology mode right now.
Okay.
And betting a unlikely bet, but if it hits, I'll be giggling like a schoolgirl. So there's going to be a bet within a bet, and by the way, this bet within a bet is brought to you by the smooth pace of Malord. Malord, fuck you. That's why. Okay.
No, they changed their fucking tagline. Did I tell you that?
What, tonight's night you fight your dad?
No. Now it's
their tagline. What?
God bless. Malort, peace be with you.
I heard.
Never has God bless sounded more threatening.
God
My Lord, come here, little boy.
Oh, stop it. This one's a good one.
All righty. All right, so what you got for
So, all right. So, again, this worked for me when the Rangers won World Series in 2023, and it worked for me giving me some cash during the last Super Bowl. So, it's not going to hit. Fuck this. Man United to win or draw against Chelsea.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah. Tottenham, or as Pat would say, Tottenham, to win or draw against, as he would say, Aston. So here's what's going to happen. Those two either are going to hit, and I'll laugh my ass off, or they'll miss, and Everton should finish above them.
There we go. I like the reverse psychology.
If it does hit, it's going to be payout at 858. So that'll be good little odds there.
And if it misses, I'm down 303 and still well above you.
Misses, you're still positive. Exactly. Now, the other thing I do need to mention this week is very important in my opinion. So I know that Graham considers himself the bastion of pop culture relevance, hipness, coolness, old hot freshness, if you will. And he, giving us shit, me and you, Sam, last week for just these old references before I was born and older. Yeah, you know what, Graham, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Oh, Taylor came in, he saw it, he conquered.
No, I do know the classics. That's Gone with the Wind, obviously. Sir, thank you.
All right.
And that was the Keystone Cops version of a segment, I'll tell you that. Okay.
So what do you got, stud?
To quote David Moyes, actually, who says that a lot, even though it was a talkie that was made in 1914 that no one remembers. No one's alive to remember.
Is Taylor probably hung up so he could watch all that on the video in 10-second delay?
Oh, he paused the feed so he could see himself. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right, so I'm down 3,400, like I said. I don't really care anymore. I've got Villa to beat Tottenham because that's going to happen because they're shit. Everton to beat Southampton because it's the
nine-way parlay.
It's the final game at Goodison. Obviously, y'all are going to be well up for that, and Southampton just aren't. Brentford or draw with Fulham because they're just in better form than Fulham are, but it is a derby, so I threw the draw in there as a fail-safe. Both teams to score in Leicester versus Ipswich. This is going to be watching two bold men fight over a comb.
Get it the fuck together, Sam.
Except for, now I would have put Vardy to score at any time, but it's too early for the markets to list the players.
But you think it's Vardy?
I think it's Vardy for sure for Leicester's goal. I just think both teams are going to score. Nothing else. Just both teams are going to score.
Not good gambling.
And then, like usual, under 3.5 in Arsenal and Newcastle because that's how we've played each other over the last few years. All of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different legs.
Nine-way parlay.
5, sir, thank you, gets me plus 437. So I'm putting $1 million on it. Just kidding. No, it's $100.
There you go.
And then I will rescue my season with my 20-game Flore next weekend.
Very good.
The old last game of the season thing. I like to do and I'll put real money. I'll put $1 on it every time. I'll do all 20 games.
See how it gets done.
Yep.
All right, excellent. Well, that's going to wrap it up, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
I do not have any parting words other than the stewards need to do better at the City Ground.
Yeah.
Keep the fucking owner off the field.
Yeah, don't let him Jerry Jones it, man. Keep his ass off the pitch.
I know he owns the stadium too, but come on.
Yeah. Yeah, get it the fuck together.
Marinakis.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Next up is going to be injury time. We are not doing the EFL show this week. We will do one to wrap up the final of all the leagues next week. But in injury time, we're going to talk about the upcoming weekend's action, the beers that we were drinking, and checking on our fantasy teams. Mr. Graham, should you want to find injury time, how do you go about doing it?
It's very easy at patreon.com/DFootballShow. Sign up to that $5 tier, and you get all of our extra stuff, which is sound check, our actual sound check. And then, as Sam just said, injury time. You also, get some other fun things along the way. And then, of course, please visit the DU Drip Shack, DUDripShack.com to purchase all of your lovely merch from us here at the Drunken United Football Show.
Very good. Till next week, everybody.
Good night.